All right, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? Here I am. Here I am. We are live, y'all. We are live on YouTube for a energy update. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I am in my new place in Atlanta. Shout out to the YouTubers. I'm still learning how to get my bearings here, but I'm on in my new place in Atlanta. Hopefully the sound is okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. Y'all, last month we had a little tech issue with the internet, and I was like still in my old place, and it was like a little chaotic. And I transmuted a lot to that month and have manifested my own new place in Atlanta, which I'm in now. I just moved in last night. You can see my very bare apartment, my little Swiffer down there. Um, but yeah, I'm in my new place, y'all. I'm in my new place. So shout out to that. It is going to be filling up with more furniture and things very soon. But for now, we're here in July for another energy update. Last month, our card was creativity for June from the annual card reading. And I did a full on energy update last month, y'all, for like an hour. I was speaking for like an hour, and then come to find out the video never saved. I think it only saved like 20 minutes. And that was the second time I had restarted that live. So once it crashed the second time, I was not going to let it crash a third, y'all. I had to just let it go. And I really had every intention of doing another energy update to replace it, to do a full one for June. But I was so busy, y'all. I went into full on gear with creating a new home for myself. And I was pedal to the metal every single day, working super hard, manifesting and gathering the resources and getting the awareness of where I was meant to move, and just really, 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 really focused on that. And so I never ended up having the time. And I also had my birthday that week too, on June 6th. So I had my birthday week. I went out of town and saw my family. I watched my brother graduate high school with honors as the president of his class and the valedictorian and homecoming king. And I was just so proud, y'all. So I went through a couple of different portals of experience, travel, fun, intense activation and manifestation. And I did not end up having time to do another June energy update. So my apologies for those of you who are waiting on that and didn't get it. But hopefully the 20 minutes of the June energy update that was available and that did finally process was good enough and gave you the insight you needed. I trust that. And now we're back for July, the seventh month of the year, y'all. We're in the seventh month of the year. So we are going to pull some cards. We're going to talk about the energy. We're going to look up the astrology as well. And we are going to get some information about the energy of July. Go ahead and put in the chat 222 if you are ready to learn about July's energy. We've got so much to talk about. We're going to keep it short and sweet from now on with these readings too. We're going to do 30 minutes tops. So that's my goal today. So I want to get right to it. When we went to the annual card reading, when we did the annual card reading all the way back in January 1st, every single year, no matter what, I always do a annual card reading where I pull a card for every single month of the year for that year. And I do it on January 1st usually at 1:11 p.m. Eastern time every single year. So when I did that for 2025, we pulled a card for every single month of 2025. And July's card was planting seeds. Now, if you were in the TikTok live that I just got off of, the Trap Story Tuesday or Trap Alchemy Tuesday that I do every single Tuesday at 12:12 to help you untrap yourself and liberate yourself from any chaos in your life. If you were on that live just now before we jumped over here, then you will know, and you would know, that I was literally just talking about plants. And I didn't even know, y'all. I didn't even know that July's card from the annual card reading was planting seeds. I just looked it up in the time that we have been offline. And so we were literally just talking about plants and how I want to get a bunch of plants for my new place, and how every time I move into a new place and I do a housewarming, I always do like a plant party, and I have all my friends and loved ones either donate to help me get plants or bring plants over. And then that way I have plants that like came with the place, that like were birthed at the same time, or that I got at the same time as my place, and they get to be a symbol of the growth that I experience in that place and the seeds that I'm planting. And literally, these are my first two plants of my place. These actually came from my old place, but I was gifted them right before I moved out. And I just got them back. They were at my old place, just hanging out until I got this place. So really cool. And sorry, there's like something back here. And then I go and look at my card reading from the 1st of January, and I'm like, oh my gosh, July is planting seeds. That's the card. How funny. Now, if you also were in my live on TikTok just a little bit ago, you know that I went through a pretty big crash out moment last night with my first day here and then the move, because moving is just so intense. And so if y'all ever want to get a little bit more of a glimpse of my personal life, behind the scenes, a little bit deeper into who I am, how I process things, what I experience, and how I move through it, and also just kind of vibe with me on a more personal level, definitely tap in on TikTok. For those of you on YouTube who aren't following me on TikTok, first of all, I've been posting every single day on TikTok since July 1st, 2025. So I'm super grateful and excited that I've been continuing that consistency, because my intention is to reach all of the people who are meant to see my content. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I stay consistent in showing up on that platform. So I've been showing up every day on TikTok. And part of me showing up every day is going live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time for Trap Alchemy Tuesday, which is loosely based off of my album Trap Alchemist, and helps us to gather every single week and just talk through any challenges we've had, so that we can see the benefit of them and the beauty of them, and how to make something beautiful out of something that might have felt a little bit intense to experience. Okay. So I was just sharing about my crash out, my move in crash out last night. And even a little bit today from being at my new place. So if you missed it, you missed it, but join live next week so you don't. Okay. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and extend the discount that I was going to give all my TikTokers that I totally forgot to at the end of that live. So stick around for this reading, and I will share a little sale that I'm going to do for those of you who are watching live, and I'll give you a little discount code to message me with, or I'll put it on my website so that it'll be easy. So stick around for that offer. But let's go ahead and jump into July. First, I want to pull a couple cards from that planting seeds energy that we already pulled for July. I want to know a little bit more about those seeds we're planting. What are the seeds we're planting? What are the seeds that we're planting? Okay. We got the cards are going a little crazy right now. Let me get them in order. They're excited to be in this new place, and they're excited to be used right now. Give me the seeds. Okay, here we go. Ooh, the seeds of power. We are planting seeds of power in July. Seeds of power. I love this. I love this. I love this, because this is meaning that with power comes responsibility, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And it's important that we are experiencing things right now. And it's important that we notice that we are experiencing things right now that are activating more of our power. So even the struggles, the challenges that we're experiencing are there to help us plant seeds of power, to help us step more into our power, to help us grow more into our power, to help us fill up space and stand strong and be resilient in our power. Power requires exercise. We have to exercise to get our power. We have to exercise our strength. Ooh, that's so clear from spirit. We have to exercise our strength in order to plant seeds of power and step into our power. And so it makes sense that we might be crashing out a little bit in Cancer season, which we're in now. It makes sense that we might feel the urge to crash out in July because we're going to be tested. We're going to be strengthened. These tests are here to strengthen us, to exercise our strength. And yes, when you're exercising your strength at the gym, it is a challenge. It is tough. It doesn't always feel good. It often feels really uncomfortable. It pushes us to our limit. It pushes us to our edge. And then we push even past that and we start to really experience the strength building. I've been learning a lot from weight training. I've just started to learn weight training the last few months. And I didn't know this, but you're meant to push to failure. You're meant to push to failure, meaning you're meant to literally work your muscle so hard that it can't work any harder. And then you're supposed to work it a little bit harder. So when you're doing the reps in the gym and you're doing your curls, that one where you're like, and you're shaking and you get it and you got to try to do two more. You literally push to failure. Oh, I can't do anymore. And your body, your muscle really can't do anymore. That's when the growth happens. That's when the most muscle build happens. So that's what's happening to us. When we feel like we can't go anymore and we're at our wit's end or we're about to crash the F out and we just keep pushing, we just keep moving, we just keep moving through, that's when we actually plant our seeds of power. How exciting is that? I love that so much. Let me pull one more card for that. Anything else with power? Anything else with our power that they want us to know? Freedom and listening. Listening and freedom. This is saying that the more we listen, the more we tune in to our power, the more we listen to the things that we are meant to understand from the experiences that are exercising our power, from those discomfort, from that uncomfortable experience, from those challenges. If we can listen for the lessons, if we can listen for the seeds of power in those uncomfortable scenarios and challenges, we will be liberated from the trap. We will be liberated from the mindset of frustration, disappointment, anger, upset, struggle. We'll be liberated from that because we'll be able to hear the wisdom from those experiences that plant the seeds of power. So don't forget to listen for the wisdom that comes from the experiences that are exercising your strength and helping you to plant seeds of power so that you can experience more freedom and liberation. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Power, listening, freedom, and planting seeds. Those are our messages. Those are our cards for this month of July. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the energy of this season. We're in July. July is the 7th month of the year. 7 represents spiritual growth and rebirth. That means that we are starting a new chapter in July, that we are completely renewed in July, that we are completely reborn in July, that our spirit is evolving, that we have just hit a new milestone of spiritual maturity. So I invite you to ask yourself, what level, what milestone, what evidence is happening in my life to show me how I've spiritually matured and how I'm entering a new level of spiritual maturity in July 2025. Now, remember, 2025 is a 9-year, which is also represents rebirth, resurrection, wisdom, death, and rebirth. And so in a month that represents spiritual rebirth, and in a year that represents rebirth as a whole, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we are we are definitely destined to have a lot of aha moments, a lot of awakening moments, a lot of times throughout July where we feel completely renewed. We'll be changing our mind. We'll be shifting into complete new mindsets, new style, new aesthetic, new homes, new friendships, new relationships, new job, new career, new passions, new hobbies, new ways of communicating, new ways of processing emotion, new ways of being accountable and staying consistent and getting things done, new levels of spiritual maturity. That is what July is bringing us. Now, that is not going to be comfortable. Rebirth is not comfortable. The birthing process is not comfortable. It is laborious. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of mental focus. It takes a lot of surrender. Think about a mother who's in labor. She has to surrender to what her body is doing. She has to surrender to the timing. She has to surrender to even the pain and discomfort, because she knows that by doing so, the process of labor becomes easier because she's not fighting it and she's not tense. She's moving with the energy and she's trusting her body to get her through the very intense, uncomfortable experience that will birth a new life for her child, and for those around her. It's a new chapter. It's a new level of maturity. It's a transformation. It's a birthing. So expect that in July. It's not going to be super easy, but when you surrender, it will be easier. And when you listen for the wisdom of each of the experiences, you will feel liberated from any disappointment and discomfort and frustration, because you'll know that this is all happening to empower you and to show you your own power, your own strength, and to exercise that strength and plant more seeds of power. How cool is that? Let me get a 111 in the chat if that is feeling really, really aligned to you, if you're feeling really aligned to this message. I got to make sure I keep engaging with you all on these lives so that I can be able to track if for some reason the video ends, because that's what happened to me that's what happened for me and for us last month with June. I noticed y'all weren't like commenting as much, but I just kept going. I was like, they must be really feeling these messages. They're not saying anything. They're like in the zone. They're in a meditative space. And then come to find out it wasn't recording anymore. That's why I couldn't see y'all's comments. So by interacting with y'all and seeing your comments, I know that this video is still happening and we're not experiencing any tech difficulties that are like knocking me offline for whatever reason. So your comments are very, very, very appreciated. So all right, with that being said, let's talk about the astrology and then we'll pull one more card at the end. I do want to keep these energy updates a little shorter and sweeter every month, because it helps you to just be able to digest the information quicker. And it helps me to be able to be more concise with the messages, so that if you're in a hurry, if you're moving through your day and you got a lot to do, as most of us do, you can just get on here, listen to these energy updates, spend about 20 minutes to 30 minutes and get all the things that you need without having to sit for like an hour or longer. So I'm holding myself accountable by moving through this. And if y'all have questions about the energy that comes up for July or for any of these energy updates, let me know. We're also going to start to do Q&As every month or every week, depending. And I'm just going to be checking in with y'all. So just be prepared. There will be a lot more content, more live streams on here, more things like that to tap into. Let me settle into my new place and get into my flow. And then once I'm really settled, that's when I'm going to take off with that, because I have been waiting with such eagerness and excitement to be in my own place again, so that I can have full control of my environment enough to put out more consistent content on YouTube and everywhere else. So I'm really excited for that. So you can look forward to that for July as well from me and the rest of the year, honestly. Okay. So let's talk about the energy of July, the astrology. I'm just going to look at the transits so that it's easy for me to share. So July 4th, we've got the 4th of July coming up this Friday. And that's going to be our first big energy milestone astrology wise. Venus enters Gemini. Y'all, I'm a Gemini sun and rising. Venus is the planet of love, pleasure, bliss, and joy and beauty. So I'm excited about that. That means on July 4th, I might get a little flirty. And some of my Geminis out there who love to flirt, we all love to flirt, by the way. Geminis are very known for flirting. We're going to feel extra flirty, extra romantic, extra heart centered on love and romance, and extra social, like putting ourselves out there, going on dates, talking, to someone that feels special. And so for those of you who aren't a Gemini, you are going to feel the same thing. You're going to feel more enthusiastic and more encouraged to speak from a place of love and to speak in love. So if you don't have a partner right now, you're more likely in July or July 4th to kind of start putting yourself out there to date. You're also going to probably feel more social, more bold in your flirtation energy. You might feel more witty and have some of that stimulating conversation and banter, more of that sapiosexual energy where your mind, you get turned on by good conversation. That's going to be expected for everyone because that is very much the Venus and Gemini combo. Okay. Now you also might want to just go out and be seen and look cute and feel like that social butterfly as well. So this is a great weekend for that because 4th of July is always a great time. There's always something going on. There's always a cool event happening. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to like go out and see what's there. If there's a cute person at the party at the pool party or at the barbecue, don't be afraid to go up and tell them that they're attractive or spark a conversation. Get a little flirty. This is going to be the perfect weekend to exercise that Gemini, Venus and Gemini. We also have Neptune retrograde in Aries. And this is going to be kind of like a call to come to Jesus moment. Like we're going to kind of reel in some of those Neptunian fantasies that maybe aren't as realistic as we were assuming, which can maybe feel like a little bit of a tough blow. But this is good because it's helping you to really think about things and see things realistically before you take action. And of course, we want to stay a little delulu for manifestation, but this is just going to kind of give you some more insight on how to reel in some of the things that might be a little bit out of balance to the actions that you are meant to take to help you manifest things. Okay. Wow, single first time in 27 years. Good for you, Michelle. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yay. Hey, PJ. Good to see you. Yay, yay, yay. I love this. I love seeing all of you here. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Lele. Project Love. What's up, Renika? Divine Cece. All y'all made it over here. I love it. I love it. All right. So then Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th. This is kind of going to be where we're going to see more freedom. Okay. Uranus is the planet of freedom. So we're going to see more of that freedom and adaptability happening. And we're going to notice some sudden changes that will also help us step into more freedom. Okay. That'll be cool. Then on July 10th, the full moon in Capricorn happens. We're going to have a earth sign full moon, which is going to help us ground and help us really to recognize what we need to release that is keeping us from having a stable, secure foundation underneath us to be able to manifest our goals. These are the things that are going to kind of cause us to reflect on what is limiting our power and what can really support our power. The full moon in Capricorn is going to help us to learn how to support our power by releasing what is not supporting our power. Okay. During that full moon, we also have Juno direct in Scorpio. Ooh, that's going to be a time to rebuild trust in relationships. That's going to be Juno is all about commitment. And Scorpio is all about mystery. So you may also find out that somebody that you thought was committed to something is not as committed as you thought they were. You might even know that within yourself, where something you thought you were committed to, you're not as committed to, or you're not as enthusiastic about. This will be a time where If you have any suspicions about somebody you're dating, that this might be where things come to light. And seeking truth is really important in that, so that you can move accordingly and build more trust. Okay. Then the next day, Saturn retrograde in Aries. Rules are meant to be broken. Okay. This is going to be fun. We're going to be called to kind of go outside the box, color outside the lines, be a little bit rebellious. Okay. That's going to be on July 12th. So that's going to also be right in there with that Capricorn full moon. Then on July 17th, Mercury retrograde in Leo. Okay, we are finally approaching a Mercury retrograde. I know how many of y'all love a Mercury retrograde. Tap, tap, tap if you love a Mercury retrograde, y'all. Tap, tap, tap. I don't know if you're going to